What's going on, everybody? Josh Engleman for Awesemo.com, and I am back with my NBA DFS contenders on DraftKings for Wednesday, May 5th. Now be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all of our other content goes live. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman so you can get updates to these sim results as we get closer to lock. And finally, let me know in the comments section who is your favorite and least favorite of my contenders for today's slate. We are rounding out the bottom of my top 10 with Kelly Olynyk, Joel Embiid, Rashawn Holmes, RJ Hampton, and Giannis Antetokounmpo on the outside looking in. Who will be my favorites? My top 5 plays for today? It's time to find out. First up at number 5, we're going to the power forward center spot. We're looking at Mo Wagner, 4,900, projected for 28.7. The goal is 36.5. He's in the optimal lineup 18% of the time. It's crowded in this area, let's be clear. I can move Mo Wagner up and down just by giving him a half minute more or less. 32 minutes, though, for Mo Wagner. Played a ton the last time out. He's really the only guy that they have at the 4, other than Brezdeikis, who literally just showed up on the team. 0.9 fantasy points per minute over those 32 minutes, 13 points, 6.5 boards, 2.5 assists, maybe 2 stocks. It's a pace neutral spot against Boston. And what you're really doing here is you're getting positional flexibility with forward and center, and you're getting someone that should play north of 30 minutes at a sub 5K price tag. Value is sort of weird today in that it exists in 1 or 2 spots. There's not a ton of true pay down options, so we see a lot of guys in this middle tier. I think Mo Wagner will fall as the day moves on and more news opens up, but for right now, he looks like a good value, and I expect him to look like a good value all day. Or you can save a little bit of money and pay down almost all the way to Dean Wade, power forward center eligible, 3,400, projected for 22. The goal's 30.5. He's in the optimal lineup 18% of the time. So I've got Wade in for 28 minutes. His minutes are really hard to keep an eye on, but I think something in that 26 to 30 range works. He's not a good fantasy per minute performer. 0.77, unfortunately. 15% usage, 9.5 points, 5 boards, 2 assists, a stock and a half. Pace neutral spot against Portland, but the defense isn't very good. Look, you're looking for value here. Playing Dean Wade allows you to get to Joel Embiid and Giannis Antetokounmpo and other pay-up options. I expect Dean Wade to also fall throughout this day as we get slightly more firmed up value. But again, for right now, you get positional flexibility and a super cheap price tag on a guy that has the opportunity to play 30 minutes today. Next up on the list, we're going to point guard, shooting guard eligible Facundo Campazzo. Number 3, he's 4,600, projected for 27.5. The goal's 35.5. He's in the optimal lineup 21% of the time. 36 minutes for Campazzo because we obviously know no Jamal Murray, no Will Barton, but also no PJ Dozier now. So I think Campazzo's minutes are firmed up even more. 36 minutes, 0.77 fantasy points per minute, 14% usage, but you get a little bit of everything. Almost 10 points, 7 assists, almost 3 boards, 2 stocks. Now, the matchup is terrible. It's an ultra pace down spot against the New York Knicks. They gain, or lose rather, 3 possessions under their average. But at the same time, if Campazzo can really play 36 minutes, and it appears that he can and honestly needs to, a $4,600 price tag for point guard and shooting guard eligible guys, like that's a value play that's not really going to go away. But again, it's nerve-wracking because of how low of a fantasy point per minute guy he is. I like getting to Campazzo, but keep a close eye on the ownership in large field GPPs because I think that he could end up over-owned. Definitely like him in cash games, though. Now we're getting into the big boost top tier options, and we're on our way to the Kings. Number 2, power forward eligible Marvin Bagley. We're doing it again. He's 5,400, projected for 37. The goal is 38.5. He's in the optimal lineup 37% of the time. Yes, 37% of the time. Look at the difference between Bagley and Campazzo. The difference between Facundo Campazzo and Kelly Olynyk at the 10 spot is 6%. That's significantly more than the gap between Bagley and Campazzo. So we're on a different tier here by a mile. 32 minutes, 1.16 fantasy points per minute, 26% usage, 20 points and 9 boards. Call it a stock and a half with 2 assists in a massive pace up spot against the Indiana Pacers. Second fastest team in the league right now. They gained 4 possessions over their average, and the defense isn't very good without Miles Turner. We saw Bagley get 30 minutes yesterday. I expect it to happen again today, barring Harrison Barnes getting ruled in. This one's just a no-brainer. He's not priced for the role that he has today and for the role that he has with multiple guys like Fox and Halliburton and Barnes being out. So lock and load Marvin Bagley. Unquestioned cash game play, unquestioned excellent tournament play. Before we get to the number one contender, which should not be a surprise at all, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Then follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman. It's the only place that you can get updates to my sim results as we get closer to lock. Finally, underneath this video in the comment section, your favorite contender. I need your least favorite contender. And I want the contender that you thought was going to be on this list that you don't see. As if there was any doubt here, number one contender, DELON WRIGHT, point guard, shooting guard eligible, 5,600, projected for 37, the goal's 39. He's in the optimal lineup 37% of the time. WRIGHT and Bagley is the unquestioned number one combo that you can get. Roster them both in cash games, set it now, and forget it. They're not coming out of that lineup. He went for 60 FanDuel points yesterday and like 55 or something along those lines. DraftKings points yesterday, just an absolute smash. And I expect him to do it again, or at least he can. 42% of the time he gets to that GPP goal and is north of 40 fantasy points. 34 minutes. Somewhere around 1.1 fantasy points per minute, 19% usage. 14.5 points, 7 assists, 5.5 boards, 2 steals. This guy gets into some passing lanes. And again, the same as Bagley, a massive, massive, massive pace up spot against the Indiana Pacers, who don't have a very good defense without Miles Turner. I love all things Kings today, but DELON WRIGHT and Marvin Bagley are on a completely different planet. They're in a different universe, a different solar system. I don't know which one of those things is bigger or smaller. They're just somewhere else, and it's not even close. The best two plays on the slate right now, and I assume by the time we get to lock, are DELON WRIGHT and Marvin Bagley. WRIGHT, though, the number one contender. Alrighty, folks, that will do it. Those are my NBA DFS contenders on DraftKings for Wednesday, May 5th. Process show is in the books. Go watch that. FanDuel version of this video is around here somewhere. I forgot which version I was actually recording right now. Plus, strategy show at 10 a.m. with Laffy. Live before lock tonight from 6 to 7:30 with Greg Ehrenberg. You should tune into all of those shows. They're great. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I will be back again tomorrow morning with another edition of the Contenders.